I'm Colleen Flanagan. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of the historic Auditorium Theater, and we're here with you this week for another edition of Odd Talk, hashtag Odd Talk. It's our podcast that we usually do, but we're doing a video version of it, and we're so honored to be with you today. This week is a very special week. We're going to talk about our summer camp, Hearts to Art, with Sarah Illiatovitch-Goldman.
Hello.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Sarah is our camp director. And Sarah, I'm here in Andersonville. Where are you today?
I'm in Lincoln Square, so I'm not that far away from you.
You're not. I'm waving to you from across
that way.
Ravenswood.
Yeah,
that way. So, well, welcome. And Sarah's been our camp director. How long have you been our camp director?
3 years in this position, yeah.
3 years. So I wanted to start with you explaining what our summer camp Hearts to Art is and what it's all about.
Yeah, Hearts to Art is an incredible program. I'm so honored to be helming it. Hearts to Art is a performing arts summer camp for young people who've experienced the death of a parent. So our main goal is healing and growth through the performing arts. We run two-week sessions. It's for people 7 to 14 years old, and our first session is for 7 to 10-year-olds, and our second session is for 11 to 14-year-olds. And it's really about fostering community and support and care with people who have experienced a similar trauma. So it is an incredible program on many different levels, a lot of fun and a lot of work and a lot of different things that go into it.
So how did you get involved with camp? What's your background that sort of led you to being our current camp director?
So I've been involved in all elements of theater my whole life. And with that, I started teaching. I've always worked with young people. I founded a group in high school going into schools that didn't have the arts for their special arts day and running programs there. And right after I graduated with my BFA, my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Acting, I joined a group of alumni from my school who'd founded a group called Project Humanity. And Project Humanity really was looking at how to take the arts and apply deeper meaning, use it to reach populations that weren't being reached. So I worked with them administratively, and then I ended up working as one of their teaching artists and one of their artists and leading workshops with the youth as well. And it totally changed my life. And that really fueled me to keep wanting to teach and work with populations that weren't being given all of the access to the arts that I'd always been given my whole life. So when I moved to Chicago and continued working as a playwright, I kept looking for teaching opportunities. And I ended up being a teaching artist with the Auditorium Theater in our Arts Exchange program, which is an arts integration teaching program that we have and is incredible. And I'm still a teaching artist there as well. So working in schools and doing that and learning about all of the different amazing things that the Auditorium was doing. And I kept getting involved and had the opportunity to start working in the office and doing some work with camp. And at that time, the camp director had just left, and I was working with our camp families and just spending little bits of time on the phone with our caregivers and campers inspired me so much. And so when the opportunity came up to throw my name in the ring to see if I could, take on this job, I decided that I had to. And luckily for me, I was deemed worthy and haven't looked back.
So let's talk about camp and let's talk about how it started.
Yeah, so camp turned 16 years old this year. Camp was founded by the Auditorium's old CEO, Brett Batterson. And Brett lost his father very suddenly when he was a child, and he ended up being an artist, right? And so he ended up spending a lot of time within the arts and really credited the arts community for helping him with his loss. I think it's really important to say that neither Brett nor anything at camp is suggesting that this program or the arts is going to fix losing someone's parent. That is a hole that is not going to be filled or fixed, but the opportunity to create community, to find coping mechanisms, to have ownership over your story, all the different things that the arts provides is incredibly powerful. And Brett really found that in his journey with theater. And so when he came into a position of power and influence as the CEO of the Auditorium, he wanted to create a place that would give back to kids that were very similar to him. So he founded what was then called Hands Together, Hearts to Art, and has then morphed into our current Hearts to Art program to create that community. And I know it's really important to our campers and their families that that's how it started, that it was someone who wanted to give to his own community and his own kind of former self.
Let's talk about what you do in camp.
Everything. We do everything. We are running constantly. So camp runs 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We also have pre-care and post-care. So campers are with us from 8 a.m. in the morning until 5:30 in the afternoon. We, as you said, are typical. If we have a typical day, our mornings are fairly similar. All campers participate in our 3 main artistic lessons. So they do classes in music, dance, and theater every day. And those are with our expert teaching artists. So people who are teachers, but also professional artists in their field, teaching our campers amazing skills. I think it's important to note you don't have to have any background in the performing arts to get a lot from camp. So you might hate singing, but our teachers will work with you and teach you wonderful skills that you didn't even know you had. So that's the morning. Then we all have lunch together as a group. We've got snacks and lunches are provided for all campers and staff throughout our 2-week program. And then the afternoon is any different kind of programming. We have workshops with outside arts organizations that come in and expose campers to different forms of the arts outside of that kind of traditional music, dance, and theater. So sometimes that's circus performance or spoken word or something about, learning how to compose your own songs, which you might not be doing in music, or tap dance, or we once had guest artists from the cast of Hamilton come and visit. All kinds of different things. We have a show every week at camp. We have our talent shows, and that's really a celebration of the amazing things that our campers already bring in with them. Again, some of our campers don't think they have talent, which is not true. So not true. They're so talented. It makes me so happy. We try to empower them with who they already are. So we have rehearsals for that. And then we have our final show, which is a celebration of everything they've learned at camp. So we're very busy with those rehearsals. We also have a clinical and therapeutic component. We do have licensed counselors who come onto camp. Some are with us full time to work with the campers. But then throughout camp, we have these counselors who come on site and speakers who also share their story of having lost a parent when they were younger. Sometimes that's prominent people within the community. Sometimes it's ex-campers or our junior counselor program, which are teenagers who've aged out of camp who are sharing their own story. So campers really see themselves in our speakers. And then they break into small therapy sessions and have more opportunity if they want. No one's ever forced to share anything, but if they want to share more about their loss and to get more direct support in terms of their grief and their growth.
Let's talk about the final performance.
Yeah, so our final performance, I think of it more like a showcase. We are not performing Les Mis, much to my chagrin, or Fiddler on the Roof or anything like that. I, as the camp director, choose a theme for camp every year. And that theme really is like a guiding principle to help us through. And so everything we do is kind of guided around that theme. So last year, our theme was becoming. Who are you becoming? Who do you want to become? Who are you growing into? So we would kind of organize everything around that theme. And then our teachers, our amazing teaching artists, take that theme and they find various material that connects to that theme. So our theater teachers chose the story of Stella Luna, for example, the amazing children's book that talks about a bat who gets separated from her family and tries to figure out if she's a bat or a bird and what does it mean to be a bat? What does it mean to be a bird? And then our campers interpreted that. We sang some songs by Queen because Freddie Mercury is an amazing example of someone who really lived his full life and not only became an icon, but became someone whose stories clearly resonate so strongly today. So there's a million different directions that it goes in. One of my favorite things was a couple of years ago, we did the theme Home, and our dance teachers not only did they choose songs for kids to dance to with the word home in it, but as they were teaching dance, they talked about home as different parts of the body. So how does ballet live in the knees? And how does tap live in the feet? And how does jazz live in the hands? And so it really becomes something that our campers hold on to even beyond that final show, which is such a special thing. But the final show is a collection of songs and dances and theater pieces that our campers have put together with their teaching artists all around that theme that we've kind of been meditating on throughout the whole camp session.
Where do the campers go from there? It doesn't stop at the end of camp, and that's a really important aspect of camp.
Yeah, it doesn't stop at the end of camp. And that's something that we're constantly looking at growing. All of our families and campers, our number one request is, can camp be longer? So no, not yet. But, we are a community all the time. We have a Facebook group, both a private Facebook group for our camp families so that they can really keep in touch with each other full time, as well as a Facebook page that is constantly offering resources and fun opportunities in a whole pile of ways. Camp Hearts to Art is a member of the National Alliance of Grieving Children, which is an amazing, amazing national organization. So we are always learning and growing within ourselves through that resource and providing opportunities for our campers and families as well. And then we have about 3 reunions a year where all of our campers and caregivers get together. We have a little party. There's usually an activity. We have a graduation in the fall for our 14-year-olds who have aged out of camp. And then we all get to do something at the Auditorium Theater, see a show, participate in an event, and really celebrate the larger community that camp is so lucky to be a part of. And another really special part of camp is so many of our staff are former campers. So you really have these people who this has been their community, you know, for a decade or more, coming back and growing and teaching with the program, which is so, so amazing.
And as soon as they turn 15, they can become junior counselors, right?
Yeah, junior counselors, which is our mentorship program for teenagers. So, you know, you have to apply. It's not automatic. And you have to really be dedicated to giving back. Our junior counselors are part of our staff and they work full days and a lot is expected of them. But they get to keep being part of that community. They still have small healing group sessions they do with our counselors. They still get to be part of our shows. We run a mini camp for them where they get to do some of the activities beforehand. Everyone who's become a staff member has gone through that junior counselor mentorship training, and it's really beautiful and so special again to keep seeing how everyone has grown. Now the junior counselors who were with me my first year as camp director are applying for college, and that's crazy.
So this year we are able to offer camp at no cost to families. It's really due to our supporters and funders and the foundations who support us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important. We have seen record numbers of sign up for camp this year, and that is 100% because of the support we've been able to get, which has meant that camp is not going to be at any cost to our families. Camp has always been heavily subsidized because we've always had incredible support from our donors and foundations, which, I mean, we'd never be able to run this program without that level of support. But it still created a barrier for lots of families. And even with scholarships available, you know, having to go through that whole process of going through the paperwork and, you know, proving that this was something you needed becomes something that turns people away and off. And our families are already going through a lot. And anything to remove those barriers makes things easier and better and just a more positive and equalizing experience for everyone. So we have had just an outpouring of gratitude from our returning families and real excitement from new families who didn't think this was something that would be accessible to them. And we are so grateful to the people who see the work that we do, see the difference that it makes, and keeps offering us the resources to not just keep doing, but keep growing.
Do you have a favorite memory from your time at camp, or memories? I'm sure there's so many.
Yeah, like every moment. Camp, you know, it's important to mention that I think camp like 90% of the time is just like so much joy. 10% of the time it's really hard and really heavy for everyone, but 90% of the time it is laughter and love. One of my favorite memories actually is from a reunion, not this ALA reunion, but the one before, when a camper who's been with us for a very long time came up to me at intermission and he said, has there ever been a male camp director? And I was like, yeah, of course there has. And like, why? And he's like, because I think I really want your job when I grow up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And to have I think 12-year-old boy who has, gone through extreme loss, be able to so clearly see this place as his home, that in a long-term way, this is what, he wants to be a part of this community, just made me go like, okay, we are doing something right.
Yeah,
so that was pretty special. That was pretty special. And of course, every performance I have ever seen at camp, I have ended up crying at one point or another.
Oh yeah, that's a given. And it's always of joy. It truly is. It's tears of joy. It's so beautiful every year. So thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Can you remind us when are camp dates this year?
Camp dates. Session 1 begins July 6th, and that is for our 7 to 10-year-olds. And session 2 begins July 20th. So it's the 6th to the 17th and the 20th to the 31st of July. And yeah, session 2, that's for our 11 to 14-year-olds. And there are still spots left. We're filling up faster than usual, but there are spots left, and you can apply online at heartstoart.org, all spelled out, all one word. You can go right there and fill out a very simple application to save your spot today.
That's great. And also at heartstoart.org and at auditoriumtheater.org, you can give to Hearts to Art Camp, and you can specifically mark your donation to give specifically to camp, and it will go directly to camp. So thanks again, Sarah. Thanks to you, everyone, for listening and watching today for another edition of #OddTalk. I love saying #OddTalk. We'll be back next Wednesday at noon. And then we also have our live performance series at home at the Auditorium. We just had Rod Dixon and Alfreda Burke this past Sunday. We're going to have Ensemble Espanol Spanish Dance Theater this Sunday at 6 p.m. Central. So thanks, everyone. Stay safe. Stay home. We hope to see you in person soon. Our curtain will rise again, and hopefully it will be soon. Thank you.